This is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a project recipe for the new Vintage Chic Collection. And I don't have the Vintage Chic Collection. I on purpose did not get it because I had the old one and I only recently finished using it. So I decided that I wanted to do the project recipe for the Vintage Chic Collection, the new one that just came out, and use Booyah. So that's what you're going to see in this video, is that fun project recipe put together using the Halloween collection, which did not have its own project recipe. And I did this for a couple of reasons, but I'll explain that all when we get to my workspace. So let's check that out and get started. All right, so you might be saying to yourself, Booyah, Booyah, hey, I've seen that collection or those papers. I saw those come out recently and I got all excited about Halloween and discovered there was no project recipe to go along with Booyah. So I want to show you something today that might blow your mind, but it's super fun. And I just want to remind you, project recipes are designed to be used with any collection. They do not have to be used with the collection they were designed for. Now, this collection did not have a project recipe. And when I call it a collection, I'm doing that just because I mean all the products that go with this paper pack. And so I decided to use this to create the Vintage Chic project recipe. Vintage Chic is a recent collection that came out as well, and it is reminiscent of one from old CM. And I just barely used all of my old Vintage Chic paper, and so I decided that rather than going and getting more of that, I would go ahead and just use this project recipe to create something cute for Halloween. So I do have the punch that goes with it. This is the Elegant Diamond Border Punch, and we are going to use this today. And I just thought it would be fun to create something different. So you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors on the sketch. Color-coded sketch above. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought for some reason. That means we've got 4 papers we're going to be using in this design. That may be a lot for some of you, especially since like the last one only used 2 pieces of paper. So using 4 is kind of a lot, but you can see 2 of them we're only cutting in half, and we're going to weld those together. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you the different papers that I've chosen to use, and we'll work on that. I have permanent and repositionable adhesive that we'll be using, both of those for sure today. So hopefully you have those. I'm going to set my punch just to the side here for just a minute, just to make some room. We're going to probably need the multi-purpose tool just to make sure that we've got everything aligned properly. And I'm going to just go ahead and remove the basic pack of paper as well. So Booyah is going over there. These are some of the stickers. Oh, y'all, these are so cute. Look at, they have reflective stuff on them. I'm not sure if that means they glow in the dark, but it is what they're calling holographic foil treatment. And so they shimmer, and they're so cute. They are so, so cute. So we're going to use some of those today. I have pumpkin cardstock, 1 sheet. I have the spiderweb page. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? I don't know why. You can tell spiderwebs are kind of my thing at this time of year. I really like them. I've got a mummy on this side. But So we've got the spiderweb page. I've got this sort of argyle, purple argyle page that has spooky cats and brooms and things on the back. I don't think we're going to see the back of that one. The spiderweb has polka dots. And I've got this candy basket, candy page, which has the green stars and polka dots on the back. So those are the 4 sheets we are going to use today. Let's go ahead and switch this over to the cutting guide. We've got some cutting to do, as I'm sure you figured. All right, so let's see. The pumpkin, we're going to save the pumpkin for last because it is going to require the punching. All right, so I'm going to grab my 12-inch trimmer and we're going to start with the 2 papers that we need cut in half. All right, so argyle for me traditionally is the long side is vertical, right? So this way rather than sideways this way. I'm not sure if there really is a right or a wrong way to do argyle. Maybe if you know, you could share that with us in the comments. But I'm going to cut this as though the long part of the triangle is vertical rather than horizontal. Okay, the spider web doesn't really matter, I don't think, which direction it goes. It is kind of multi-directional. So we're gonna yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut it this way. I'm gonna stack these 2 papers. These are the 2 that are going to be cut in half, like the green and the blue here, cut at 6 inches. And because I have not replaced my cute little cheater mark up there to show me where the 6-inch mark is, I moved my arm out so that I could be sure and find exactly halfway on these papers. All right, so there is our half and half. We're going to use each of these on each side of our layout, so it's important that you get that cut exactly in half. All right, so now I'm going to put that arm back. The pumpkin candy page, we are going to cut this. This is going to be our yellow sheet down here at the bottom. And we're going to cut this at 2 3/4. So 2 3/4 comes out to here. And then we're going to cut a second one at 2 3/4. So just like that. Then we're going to take this remaining piece and we're going to turn it and cut it at 4 1/2. Now this mat is meant to be 4 1/2 by 6 1/2, and you should have 6 1/2 inches left of the paper, which we do, by cutting the 2 2 3/4 pieces off. Okay, so there's a mat and another one at 4 1/2. We'll make our second mat, and then this is just an extra piece you can use on another layout down the road. All right, now we need 2 4 1/2 inch squares out of pumpkin. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those. And we are going to come back and use our trimmer one more time. But right now we're just going to cut 2 4 1/2 inch squares. So 4 1/2. Now that's another 4 1/2. And we're going to do one more at 4 1/2. And again, this piece is extra, so just set it aside. Okay. So these are the mats we're going to use. I'm going to set those up here just to kind of keep them in my eyesight but get them a little out of the way. We are going to cut 2 more mats that are 4 by 6. But first we're going to punch, and we're going to use this border punch. Now if you've not used a Creative Memories decorative punch. Let me just share with you quickly how to do that. So there is a locking mechanism at the top that helps keep this down, which helps us maintain storage better. They can sit on this flat edge and sit on your shelf, and you can see exactly what the pattern is here, and you can see the pattern here. So that helps you store them a little bit more efficiently. When you go to punch, there are these two marks on the front right here. Those two marks indicate a starting point. And depending on whether you're feeding your paper from left to right or right to left, will determine which of these points you're going to use to start. I'm going to start mine by feeding it in to the punch and lining it up with the right hand mark, as you can see, like that. Okay, so I'm going to line it up. I'm going to punch down, and because this has so many little pieces it's punching out, you are going to have to apply a significant amount of pressure to it. But you feed it through, as you can see, until it covers the design on the wing out here, the blue portion of the design. You keep it pushed back on this shoulder back here on the straight edge, and this needs to cover that blue design. Okay, then we're gonna punch again, and I'm trying to be careful not to put pressure here because I'm still really tender there. Okay, you can see I fed mine through just a little bit too far the first time. Let me show you what they have in place to keep that from happening. Do you see this little notch right here? Maybe you can't see it because it's too far away. Let's refocus so you can see better. This little notch that they've shown you right here corresponds to this little notch that you can see on the paper. See that little notch right there? And that helps you when you're feeding it through. Refocus so you can see. Helps you so that you can see how far to feed it through. So I'm going to do a quick redo. I'm going to feed it through far enough that this little notch on the very end is right there. Okay, so we can make sure that that's hitting where it's supposed to hit, and now I have a completed design. Lovely. All right, so now we're going to, okay, so my trade-off for that is I can't line up the next one effectively. So let's go ahead. I'm going to line that up here and see if it will work that way. Nope. All right, so what I'm going to do is line up this design without the notch so that we can get back on track. There we go. All right, now I have a notch. Okay. So it is not tricky. It's just a little bit tedious. I like that word better. Tedious. All right, there's one. We're going to do two of these. So I'm going to turn my paper around and use the straight edge on the other side, and we'll feed it back going the other direction. Just for, as they say, kicks and giggles. Right? So to start off, remember, you're only going to feed it till that notch is right where it's supposed to be. That very first notch is right in the middle of the wing. And then you'll be good to go to feed it the rest of the way. All right, so there are our two. You're gonna have plenty of little tiny pieces with this punch. So if you like little pieces because you like to make confetti, then this is a fantastic punch for you and your purposes. If little pieces are difficult for you, do like I did and punch it over a piece of paper, and then that way you can just take the piece of paper and then dump it into your trash easily. There we go. Okay. Now we are going to, we've punched those borders, we've cut these two pieces, the 4.5 squares. Now we need two that are 4 by 6, and I need to cut off these notches. So I'm going to move my paper so that it's lined up with the right hand dotted line on my mat, and then that way I can for sure get those notches cut off. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. Okay, so using that straight edge, I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. It's going to leave me roughly a 1/2 inch of paper with some little notches on it. Who knows, I might need that one day. All right, then we're going to turn this horizontal, and we're going to cut it at 6 inches. Remember, if you have the Vintage Chic paper, this is the project recipe you can use with that paper pack. So by all means, I hope you get it out and use it. It's a fun paper pack and a really cute project recipe. Okay, the other thing we need to cut, and I forgot until just a second, is we need a couple of pieces for welding material. And it doesn't necessarily tell you to do this in the project recipe, but I'm going to tell you this is going to make welding much, much easier. So you either need to cut or you need to have a couple of strips of scrap cardstock, and this is about a 1-inch strip. This strip is roughly almost 1.5 inches. So actually what we could do is just cut this one in half and use it rather than using that other 1-inch piece right there. All right, so you need 2 welding pieces. That's what these are going to be. I'm going to put this back. And again, they can be any color. I tend to use white because I tend to have white scrap papers, you know, in abundance, more abundance than colors. But you can use whatever you'd like. Okay. So we're going to come back over here to the picture of the project recipe, and we're going to just take a look here. We're going to use our welding pieces, and we're going to assemble 2 base sheets. All right, so those base sheets are going to be made up of these 2 pieces of paper. And when we assemble these to weld them together, let me just show you how I'm going to do this. Okay, we're going to move that over there temporarily. I'm going to flip these upside down, and I'm going to bring them together on my work surface so that the edges are right, just exactly matching. Okay, then I'm going to take my permanent adhesive And I'm going to draw my adhesive across that edge. As I do that, I'm not leaving very much on that side. As I do that, I'm doing that at an angle. So not straight down this way, but at an angle this way. Then I'm going to take one of my pieces of welding material. I'm going to put the edge of it right at the edge of the other paper, and I'm going to lay it right on top of that seam. It's okay if your adhesive goes a little bit beyond the welding paper. That's really not critical, because you're going to adhere this to another page anyway, right? Or you're going to put it in a sleeve. So if it bothers you, you can use repositionable adhesive for this. But by running that right down, it's so easy, and you flip it right over and you've got one piece of paper. Ta-da! It's the best. I learned how to do this from Sherry Tilley. She's another fantastic advisor. And I learned this a long time ago, but I always like to give her credit because it's such a fantastic tip, and it's made my life so much easier. So I try to pass that on whenever possible. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to bring our edges together. Like so. Just going to hold them together with my left hand while I take my right hand and add that adhesive. The spots where I'm going back because my adhesive for some reason didn't start rolling until I was almost onto the other sheet. So there wasn't any on this side. All right, so again, we're going to center that seam underneath the welding material and just lay that down right on top. Push it into the adhesive so you make sure it's good and stuck down. Okay, and then we are good to go. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to adhere the pumpkin paper, the candy. And the candy is going to go down, I think I want it to go down on the purple paper. But just in case, I thought I would try and see what it looks like on the spider web. I think I like it better on the purple paper though. So we'll keep the spider web in the middle like this, and we'll put the pumpkin paper right on the edge out here. Okay, so we're going to add adhesive down this side. By the way, you could flip it over and put this piece down like this. I just like all the colors that are on this paper for this particular thing. So we're going to add this paper right up the edge of the outer edge of both sheets. Halloween is such a fun holiday. It's my oldest daughter's favorite holiday of the year. And we are fortunate to live in a neighborhood with some like-minded individuals who dress up like pirates. And not only do they dress up like pirates, but they incorporate different homes in the neighborhood and send the kids that come to their house on quests throughout the neighborhood. And we are lucky to be one of the families that get to participate in that. So super fun to be able to do that. Each year. They've done it now for 3 or 4 years. And we have fun with that every year. It's good. So I'm stacking my 2 borders, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut them in half. So we want 2 6-inch pieces. I'm going to try to stack them. They should stack pretty much exactly if I was careful when I was punching. And I'm going to cut through, I don't know if you can see this, but right between these 2 little sort of knobs, that's where I'm cutting through right here on my guillotine trimmer. And I'm using the guillotine trimmer because it was handy and because it just seemed like it would work a little bit better to make sure that things weren't shifting and all was good. All right, so now I'm going to take each one of these, and you can see this one has just a little bit of residual paper. But each one of these is going to go, this one's going to go here. Let's see. Nope, I'm doing it wrong. All right, you gotta watch me. Ladies, gotta watch me. I'm going to put this up here so we can all see it a little bit better. Okay, so these are going to go on the inside track, about like that, and these 2 are going to go on the outside, so like so. You could also do this in black, and I think it would look nice on this particular layout. I think it would go well. All right, so I'm going to put this about a 1/2 inch from the edge, and I'm going to use my repositionable adhesive and just go right over top of all those holes. That's the benefit of the repositionable adhesive. Oh, it's so nice. Once you use it, you'll just be so spoiled. So I hope you have some because it's fantastic, especially when you're adhering something like this. And you can see I may have just 1 or 2 little tiny dots that stick to my base, but really in the long run I don't have very many. Maybe 1 or 2, but that's it. So I'm lining up my 2 base sheets, and that will help me line up my punched border for the next page over, so that I make sure it's in the same place because of the fact that they meet right here. I don't have to be as careful with this one. If it's off just slightly, it won't be as noticeable, but this one will definitely be more noticeable. All right, so now we're going to turn this around, and we're going to work on these 2. And these are going to be 1/2 inch from the top. Like so. If you want to make it so that it is exactly the same, all you would do is this. Take your papers, line them up this way, and then you can make these 2 papers, or these 2 borders, match exactly. All right, so just like that. Okay, so now we're going to flip those around Ta-da! Getting close. We just need mats and embellishments, and then we're good to go. All right, so we've got this mat. It's going to go here. We've got this mat. That's going to go here. We could flip these over if we wanted to make them the green mats. I don't know if I like that or not, but let's see. This one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. The tops of these two are going to be at the same place. So wherever you decide to put this one, make sure the top of this one is even with it. And this one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. All right, so ultimately this is a 6 photo layout unless you decide you want to add photos in here and in here, which you could do if you wanted. And then it would be an 8 photo layout or thereabouts. So we've got it that way. Let's flip these over and just see what it would look like if we used the pumpkins. All right, so we've got that, and then let's grab, I'm going to grab a 4x6 piece of cardstock to simulate my picture. So there's my 4x6 photo. I think that actually would look fine. I think it's a little much without the picture on there, but with the picture on there, I think that works better. Let's see if I have another one of those handy here. I do not. Huh, okay. Well, let's just move this one over and see if it makes such a striking change. I think it gets lost. The green gets lost on top of the green spider web. Can you see that? So the matte looks better with all the different colors on it, and the dark, it shows up a little more. So we're going to go with that. We're going to flip this over and put it there. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere these with some permanent adhesive, I think, which isn't what I normally do, but I can't see myself putting photos on here that would not be in this arrangement, so this is what I'm going to go with. Okay, so I'm going to place this, let's see, it's looking like it's about a 1/2 inch from the top of the border that we've got on here. So 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch from the middle, 1/2 inch from the border. And this one would go in roughly the same place, 1/2 inch. It's a healthy 1/2 inch for the top one. And then this one will go about a 1/2 inch over and even with the top of this one. Whether you decide on a 1/2 inch or you decide on a 1/4 inch, just be consistent so that this border and this border are the same. So that will help your grouping stay together a little bit better. All right, gonna put these down, and then we will talk about embellishments. All right. I like it. I think it's coming together really, really nicely. Okay, so now we need to get some of these cute stickers and make a couple of clusters. So mainly this project recipe calls for embellishing here and here. And if you wanted to make a journal box, that would be a good place to do it. But I would recommend, if you're using these same papers that I am, that you find a piece of maybe solid green cardstock that matches this green right here, which would be, well, it's not any of these coordinating cardstocks, but you could certainly use the canary or the tangerine if you wanted to, or even another piece of pumpkin. You could even use the spare bit of pumpkin and stick that up there, and then journal there, or you could add a photo even if you wanted to there. If you have a piece of green that matches this green, I think that would also be cute. You're going to need one of the greens that's not in our standard line. Let me just see if I can give you an idea which green would work best before we do these embellishments. So some of these are the recent greens that we've had. None of them look like they are exact, so it depends on if you want it to match exactly or not. But these are the lighter, more brighter greens that we've had. So light lime, I think, kind of works. They all kind of have a place, but none of them match exactly like you said. So I've got, these are light lime, Terra green, Vulcan green, and marsh green. So that way you can see. So you might want to just stick with the pumpkin, or like I said, pull out some canary. That would pull the yellow out of here, which actually would probably be really nice. Okay, so let's see. Let's find, these are so fun. Look at these. Ah, I love that. Can you see that iridescence on camera? Kind of. Aren't those cool? Those are just neat. I love it. Okay, let's find something cute to use on here. I know we're going to be going to a pumpkin walk, so you could do Creep It Real. Creep It Real. That's funny. So cute. It's scary. We do Stay Spooky, Keep It Real. And just build a little tower. Alright, that's not coming together the way I had hoped because it's not quite sticky enough. Come on, stick. There, that's a little better. I just needed to be a little more aggressive. Okay. Creep It Real. Stay Spooky, Creep It Real. I'm going to put that right on the edge of this. That way I can add some journaling here if I want to. And let's add a little sparkle of something. There are these cute little sparkles. We'll stick right there. What else? What else? What else? We should do kind of a title. The pick of the patch. Pumpkin carving. In our area, they do a thing called a pumpkin walk. A pumpkin walk is something that I learned about after we moved here to Utah. They have a bunch of groups in the area, youth groups and different people who volunteer and create jack-o'-lanterns. And then those jack-o'-lanterns are displayed for everyone in town to come and parade by and see. And the area we initially moved to up in Logan, they actually do their pumpkin carving on a theme. So different groups will sign up to volunteer, and then they will do like a scene from a movie or something like that, and they of course use jack-o'-lanterns predominantly in the scene. So that's kind of cool. So let's see, pick up the patch. All right, one more I was gonna do, but I'm not sure where I would put it necessarily in this layout. So I'm thinking maybe I might just go with those two and let the paper speak for itself. But aren't these cute? I think these are just super cute. I love this hocus pocus, and then you've got these cute little potions and a cauldron that's bubbling over. So fun. Halloween is so fun. All right. Well, let me know what you think. I think that's all I'm going to do with this one. It's super fun to use a project recipe in another way with a different collection. And I think that this lent itself really well to using the Vintage Chic project recipe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. Make it a great day.